How to Steal a Dog by Barbara O'Connor, Chapter 10. Shh! I put my finger to my lips and motioned for Toby to stay behind me. We tiptoed along the hedge in front of the big brick house. When we got to the gate, I scanned the street, then whispered to Toby, "You be on the lookout. If anybody comes outside or a car or anything, you whistle like I showed you this morning, okay?" Toby nodded. I peered over the gate. The front door of the house was closed. I glanced toward the driveway. No car. The yard was empty and quiet. "Here, Willie," I called out real soft. Nothing. Maybe he was inside. Wonder if I should go up to the porch. Probably not. If somebody was home, they were liable to see me. "Maybe you should whistle," Toby whispered. Okay. I whistled one time and waited. Sure enough, Willie stuck his head out of the little doggy door. When he saw me, he dashed out the door and up to the gate. "Hey, Willie," I whispered, sticking my hand through the gate to pet him. He stood on his hind legs and put his front paws on the gate. His tail wagged so hard his whole body wiggled. He licked my hand like it was a T-bone steak. "You want to come with us?" I said. He cocked his head and peered up at me, and then I swear he nodded his head. If he could have talked, I'm sure he would have said, "Heck yeah, I want to come with you." So quick as I could, I lifted the latch on the gate and opened it just enough to reach my arm in. My heart was pounding so hard all I could hear was thump, thump, thump in my ears. I knew I had to keep myself moving, or I was liable to start thinking. And if I started thinking, I was liable to think I shouldn't be doing this. So I turned my mind to off and grabbed Willie's collar. I pulled him through the gate and out onto the sidewalk. He kept wagging his tail and looking at me with his shiny black eyes. I took the string out of my pocket and tied it to his flea collar. "Okay, let's go," I said to Toby, and took off running. I ran down Withmore Road, around the corner and into the woods. Willie ran along beside me. Every now and then he leaped up on me or nipped at my heels like this was the most fun game he'd ever played. Once in a while he'd let out a little yip. When we were far enough into the woods that I'm sure nobody could see us from the road, I stopped to catch my breath. I put my hand on my pounding heart and leaned against a tree. Toby ran up and stopped beside me. "We did it!" I hollered. "Shh!" I clamped my hand. He hollered. "Shh!" I clamped my hand over his mouth. "Somebody might hear us. You gotta be really quiet." Willie sat in front of us with his tongue hanging out, panting. His tail wagged on the ground. Swish, swish, swish. I knelt down and ran my hand along his back. He closed his eyes and leaned against me. "It's okay, fella," I said. "Don't be scared. Me and Toby are nice." He scratched behind his ear and with his hind leg, making the tag on his collar jiggle. "What do we do now?" Toby said. "We take him over to that house and tie him up on the porch." "What if he doesn't like it there?" "He's going to have to be there for a little while," I said. As soon as his owner puts up a reward sign, we'll take him back home." "Oh." Toby knelt and rubbed the top of Willie's head. "What if his owner doesn't put up a reward sign?" I flapped my hand at Toby. "Trust me, that lady's going to want him back more than anything. She's probably making a reward sign right now." I made my voice sound calm and sure, but a funny little feeling was tapping at my insides, a feeling like maybe I'd done a real bad thing. I took a deep breath, trying to swallow the feeling down and keep it from growing. I unbuckled Willie's green collar and tossed it into the bushes. Tap, tap. There it was again, tapping at my insides like it was trying to tell me something. "What'd you do that for?" Toby said. I rolled my eyes. "Think about it, Toby." Toby's eyebrows squeezed together and he bit his lip. "'Cause he don't need it anymore," he said. I sighed. "No, Dumbo, 'cause we can't take him back to his owner with his collar on, or else she'd wonder how come we didn't call her. Her phone number's right there on the tag." "Oh," he nodded. But he still looked confused. I swear sometimes he is dumber than dirt. "Come on," I motioned for Toby to follow me. We made our way through the woods behind the houses on Withmore Road. I could hear the cars on the highway up ahead, so I was pretty sure we were going in the right direction. Willie trotted alongside me, happy as anything. Every now and then he stopped to sniff the ground or root through the rotting leaves. Once he stopped to dig, sending dirt and leaves and twigs flying out behind him and making me and Toby laugh. He sure was a funny dog. When we got to the highway, I stooped down behind the bushes along the edge. I handed the string leash to Toby. "Here," I said. "Hold this while I see if there's any cars coming." I checked in both directions. No cars. I went back to where Toby sat, with his arm around Willie. "Okay, now listen," I said. "We gotta make a run across the highway, then through the vacant lot over there. I'm pretty sure we can cut through those woods to get to the old house." He nodded. I took the string from him and dashed across the highway with Willie leaping along beside me. We kept running until we made it to the edge of the gravel road leading to the old house. The whole time, Willie pranced and yipped and jumped up on me, while once in a while he grabbed the string in his mouth and gave it a tug. When we got to the house, Willie perked his ears up and watched me. "We're here, fella," I said, scratching the top of his head. He looked at me. He looked at that run-down, boarded-up house and then back at me. I had a feeling he knew what I was thinking. "It's okay, Willie," I said. "He won't be here for long, I promise." He cocked his head in that cute way of his. I don't know how he did it, but that little dog could make you love him just by looking at him. I sat down in the dusty road and put my arm around him. He crawled right into my lap and licked my face. His licks weren't all slobbery like most dogs. "It's spooky here," Toby said in the whiny voice of his. I knew if I didn't do something fast, he was liable to turn into his baby self and start crying or something. "You hold Willie and I'll make a path to the back porch," I said. I pushed through the sticker bushes and vines, mashing them down and breaking off branches, till there was a clear path to the back of the house. It was dark and damp back there. You couldn't even see the sky through the overgrown trees. The tiny porch leaned slightly, like any minute it was going to fall right off the back of the house. The steps leading up to it were loose and rotten. One of them was broken all the way through. The screen door dangled on one hinge. "Come on," I called to Toby. He and Willie came around the corner of the house and stopped. "No way, Georgina," Toby said. "We can't keep Willie here." "Listen, Toby," I said. "This is the best place. Nobody'll see him, and he won't get wet if it rains. And, besides, he won't be here for long." I watched Toby's face, but he didn't look convinced. "And we'll come and stay with him after school," I added. Toby swiped at the tears that had started. "You're mean," he said. "Darn. Why do you have to go and say that? I sure didn't want to hear it, 'cause that was exactly how I was feeling. Mean." "Toby, listen." I put both hands on my shoulders and looked at him square in the face. "Aren't you tired of living in a car?" He hung his head and nodded a tiny little bit. "Don't you want to have a real place to live, with walls and beds and bathrooms and all?" He nodded again. "Then we need to help Mama get some money," I said. And this is the only way I could think of. Could you think of another way? I bent down and tried to look him in the eye again, but his head was hanging too low. All I could see was his long, dirty hair all tangled up and ratty looking. "Then we got to do this," I said. We'll take good care of Willie, and we'll take him right back home just as soon as we can, and then we'll get the reward money and everything will be good." I jiggled Toby's shoulders. "Okay," I added. I knew Toby didn't believe me, because I wasn't sure I believed myself. That old tapping feeling was getting bigger in my head, and in my head I was thinking maybe I was messing up. And I was starting to think how I wished I could go back in time to the hour before, or the day before, or the week before. But I knew I couldn't do that. I was there behind the awful old house with that cute little dog looking at me, and I knew it was up to me to make everything turn out good, like I had planned. I took the string leash from Toby and led Willie up the creaky steps to the porch. "This isn't so bad," I called out to Toby. The top half of the porch had been screened in once, but now all was left was a rusty old screen hanging in tatters. Leaves and pine needles had blown in and covered the floor, settling in corners in damp, moldy piles. I pushed some of the wet leaves aside, trying to make a clean spot. Then I knelt down and took Willie's head in both my hands. "Don't be scared, okay?" I said. "We'll be back real soon and everything will be fine." Then I rubbed my nose back and forth against his. An Eskimo kiss. Willie rested his chin in my hands and gazed up at me like he believed every word I said. "What if he gets hungry?" Toby called from the bottom of the steps. "Hungry? I hadn't even thought about that. I can't believe Toby was thinking up something else I had left out of my How to Steal a Dog notes." I said, "What if he gets hungry?" Toby called out. "I've got that all worked out." I lied. My mind raced trying to think of how I was going to feed Willie, and what if I couldn't get here every day? How long can dogs go without food? "And water," Toby said. "Dogs need water too, you know. He might die if he don't have water." "Shut up, Toby." That's all I could think of was to say, and it did the trick. He shut up, and it didn't help me feel any better. I tied the string to the doorknob and said goodbye to Willie. Then I led the way back through the weeds and bushes toward the road. I was glad Toby was quiet as we walked, because I had a lot of thinking to do, about food and water for Willie, about what I'd done, about what to do next, But it was hard to get those thoughts all straightened out and my insides kicking up like that. That tapping feeling was turning into full out banging.